Hey guys, this is just a quick video to go over the presentations that are required for this class. One thing to keep in mind is that I've also assigned you a lecture that's called The Worst Presentation Ever, and that's one that I recorded for a different class, like 4 years ago. But it has a lot of really good information about how to make a good PowerPoint in it in particular. So when you're watching it, take some things with a grain of salt, just knowing that you are not an engineer who is in senior design, but the rest of it actually is applicable to what you're doing. But I wanted to give you a little bit of specific information about the stuff that I'm expecting for your presentation. So here's a quick document that I'm just going to kind of go over. So if you think about who your viewer is, or your reader, your audience, it's each other, or I would say students. Remember that the question you're answering in Project 2 is, what is professional writing? And each of you is sort of going about discovering that in your own way. And so this is a chance for you to practice presentation skills, practice learning a technology you may not have known before, and sharing your research with other people. Some of this seems sort of like, well, of course you're going to do this. It's school. You always have to do presentations. And the thing I want to kind of get you away from or have you think about is that with presentations, in professional writing, this is literally what you do some of the time. I know of lots of people who write for a living in a host of different companies and organizations, and they have to give presentations all the time. And so even though this feels very school-like instead of sort of like workplace-like, there's going to come a time in your professional writing career where you're going to have to present information of some kind. Take, for example, if you become a grant writer for a nonprofit organization. You're going to be presenting to all kinds of people, all kinds of organizations. So that's what I'm trying to get you to sort of experience and practice. So in this case, each other, you are your own audience because you're educating yourself and others through the project. And then I would say, and me, but I'm secondary. Okay, so then the next thing is it's supposed to be, I would say, 8 to 10 minutes. I don't want to see it go longer than 10 minutes. 8 is probably kind of where you're going to shoot for. Let's say that. I'd like it to be short and pithy. By pithy, I mean have lots of content packed into it and well put together. I would rather see a really solid, systematic, and well put together presentation that's maybe 7 minutes than a fluffy long one where you're rambling and saying a lot that it kind of goes into the 8 to 10 range. Okay, don't go really short like 5 minutes though, because that doesn't teach us anything. I would like to see a good combo of you talking and slides. Okay, one of the things that I'm going to point out in the other lecture is that a presentation is not something you should have that you just read off the bullet points. It's sort of a pet peeve of mine when students, again, because it's a school project and presentations are always kind of crappy, right? You have bullet points and then you just simply read off of them. Instead, the slides should complement whatever the words are coming out of your mouth. So in some ways, you kind of want to write your speech, if you will, and then think of what can I show the audience that's going to enhance what it is I'm saying. Sometimes that will be a bulleted list, but you need to expound on each of those bullet points. You don't want to just read them, right? Or perhaps it's going to be an image that you can talk about, okay? Again, you are the focus of the presentation, not necessarily the slides, but the slides have to complement what it is that you're saying. When you watch the Worst Presentation Ever video lecture, it's going to give you a good sense of how to make a good PowerPoint. You don't have to make a PowerPoint, to be honest with you. There's other ways of doing it, but most of you would choose to do so just because that's the most accessible and most familiar. So then the next thing I want to talk about is sort of how to record yourself. I would like to see you have a combo of your voice and maybe your face and slides. or images or presentation material. Okay, so that means that you need to figure out how to create a presentation that you can record and post on the internet. As you can tell by watching this, I do this a lot. And so I have some helpful tips and some software that I use that's free and easy to use that I'm going to recommend to you. I would say the one thing is do not try to record yourself or voice over a PowerPoint because the file size is too big. Okay, so PowerPoint does have technically the ability for you to record your voice and have it be like, you can make a little video practically in PowerPoint, but the file size is enormous and it is so clunky. And given that we want to be able to upload this to the internet and actually watch it, I just, it's not the best option. So I would stay away from that one. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is the software I'm currently using, which is very strange. I am using something called Screencast-O-Matic. Okay, the weird thing is I'm already logged in. Okay, you can see up here screencast-o-matic.com. Because I love Screencast-O-Matic, partly because the name just is fantastic, but also because it just works so easily. Okay, what it does is there's free software. You just say yes, I want to subscribe or whatever, and you have to give them an email address. And then you get this video editing sort of software. Now, one thing, I'm going to go back and see if I can't show you. Okay, so you can record for free. It's useful for all these things. I actually have I actually pay for some of it because I use it so much. I wanted to be able to edit the software. But with the free version, you can do literally anything you need to do, and you have a choice. So see here, you're going to notice this little recording box comes up. This you can't see that because on my screen it's not part of the viewing area. And then you hit this little record button. You can either do just the webcam or you click on both. So both is what I have here, which is why you can see my screen and you can see my face talking and doing little Muppet dances in the background, right? And so that's a really cool way of either you're gonna, if you just cannot handle the thought of having your face on a video, email with me and you can probably just record screen, which is right here, and that would just record your voice and what's on the screen. But know that those make for really boring presentations, and you have to watch them, and it's boring to watch them. And so if you create boring ones, other people might create boring ones, and then we'll all just be really bored. So I encourage you to have your face on here, get used to the sound of your voice. These sorts of things are going to come up more and more, especially if you take multimedia with Dr. Keller next spring. Spring 21, I encourage you all to do that, where you're going to be making public service announcements and your voice might be heard on the radio, right? So what's really great about this one is just that it's free, easy to use. It records up to like 15 minutes, and that's plenty big for what you need. And then at the end of it, you have the option of storing it to your desktop or uploading it to YouTube. Either one is fine. I will say that if you upload it to YouTube, you can make it private so that the only people who can see it are people who have the link, right? Or you just have it unlisted. I have been posting videos to my YouTube channel for, like almost a decade, and I think I have 3 subscribers because that's how awesome I am and how popular. So nobody sees the videos unless I make them go see them. So that's the easiest way, because then you just have to provide a link when you submit this for other people to watch. If you download it to your desktop because you just really don't want your face and all that stuff out there in the ether, you'll upload it. You're going to need to make sure that it's compressed into as small of a file as possible. Most of the time, Screencast-O-Matic does all of that for you. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, so there's a couple other software things that you could do. Here, just like a quick search, you could do, I just literally looked this up, online presentation software, right? And there's a couple of them. I clicked on best free online presentation software. And so Prezi is a popular one. Some of you may have heard of it, some not. It's sort of a a fancier version of PowerPoint, whereas PowerPoint just has single slides that move one to another. This one has like zoom and comes in and out and spatial relationships between things. And so it makes for sort of a more visually exciting presentation. I'm not entirely sure how it would work with Screencast-O-Matic, for example, but I bet you it would. And that might make for some really interesting videos because your face could be over here while you're zooming in and out and that kind of thing. So that might be fun. There's one called Visme, V-I-S-M-E, that was another one that looked okay to me. You can do some searching. I'm most familiar with Screencast-O-Matic. I know it works. It's a great free software, so that's the one I recommend. You're probably going to have to do a little bit of reading if you want to use something different or something like Prezi. And one of my tips for learning new software, and as professional writers, that's one of the things kind of in your future, is to always be learning new software and learning new places that you do writing. So like in Dr. Keller's multimedia class, you're going to have all kinds of different software you need to learn. The best way to learn it is to get yourself a snack and a beverage, Cheetos and root beer, for example, and sit there and just play around with it. So if you're not familiar with Screencast-O-Matic or you're not familiar with Prezi, get yourself a snack. Maybe it's a scone and some Earl Grey tea. It's that one of those afternoons, right? Whatever it is you want, and just let yourself relax and click around and mess around with it. Make some dumb videos, record, and then delete a bunch of stuff. And over time, you're going to build up confidence. Okay, so along with this presentation, don't forget to watch the worst presentation ever video because it gives you some helpful advice about actual PowerPoint presentations. My face isn't on it, so it's a little different than the one you're looking at now, but it still serves a purpose, and I crack a couple really awesome jokes. I mean, they're super funny jokes that you get to watch in there. So as always, if you've got questions, you can email me, and otherwise I will see you guys later.